some videos on these SJ cams, sort of GoPro type looking cameras, action cameras, and now we'll do some different cameras, different action cameras, a different style of design at least, because it's questionable whether the internals are any different. This particular one here now is an Ion or Eon. It's an Eon, or I'll call it Eon Air Pro. Now, I bought this one. Well, first of all, this is a really nice feeling camera. Now, obviously, as I said before, I'm not doing this is not a review on these action cameras. It's just simply a kind of potted history here of the cameras that I've got and putting them onto classic cars and seeing what they film like. Then obviously there is some comparison between the cameras. This particular camera though is really nice to hold. It's solid, feels nice in your hand. It appears to be made of metal, but I think part of it is plastic. But it certainly feels solid. It's quite weighty. It's got a lot of good things about it that I like. I think most people like. First of all, it's got this fantastic vibration system, so that everything the camera does, it vibrates very solidly, so you can feel it and even hear it. You know what the camera's doing, and you don't have to rely on tiny little lights or little beeps that you don't hear out in the open air and the wind. Also, this camera, as it stands here, is waterproof, so it can go underwater. So lots of good points, but the bad points to me start as soon as you start using it, because it's easy to use, right? So to turn it on, there are two ways really. If a little button here, if we push this button and hold it for about 3 seconds, it vibrates. And a little light comes on. That is now on standby. Now to take a picture, we just push this once and it buzzes, and that tells you it's taken a photograph. To do video, you slide this lever here forward. It does a slightly longer buzz and it's taking video, and we can see this red light flashing here. So it's taking video. And to turn it off, you just slide it back. So it works really well. Quite effective. There are other cameras that work in this similar way, actually. The TomTom and the Garmin, they have similar systems. Also, to turn the camera off, and I'll just turn it off, you hold this button down, you get a long buzz, the light goes out, it's off. Now the other way you can turn the camera on is when the camera's completely off. You can just simply and the TomTom does this, sorry, the Garmin does this, you just slide it forward, long buzz, and it's quite quickly, actually in this case, taking video. So it goes straight to video, and you can turn it off. And then it seems to stay on standby. Now if you just do nothing, the camera will go off after a certain time, or you can turn it off by holding the little button at the front down. So as soon as I got the camera, I was impressed, but when I started to take videos, I was not impressed. The sound was terrible, and it is terrible. It's muffled, obviously, because this camera is waterproof. Also, it doesn't seem to have any stability control whatsoever, and the picture is only any good if the camera is really kept still. So if you put the camera on a tripod or put it on a surface like that, which it will sit quite nicely, and let it film things happening, the picture's reasonable. But if you hold it, you really have to hold it steady. Now, what is the point of that in an action camera? So, you know, even if you're walking around with this camera, which is not unreasonable to expect a decent picture, because it is an action camera and it's going to be attached to something which moves. Frankly, the picture is just unwatchable, and the sound is terrible. So I don't use this for video. I have done a couple of videos, just I felt sorry for the camera, so I did a video now and again, but also I did the video because I tend to carry this camera around a lot. Now that sounds strange, but the reason is because I like the photographs it takes. Now when it comes to photographs, it's a completely different story. I got the camera on standby, I walk around with it, and I push the button, take pictures everywhere, and I feel it takes a really nice photo. The lighting and the atmosphere of the photograph is really natural. And so many of the action cameras, they're precise, the pictures are precise, and they are sharp, but they're not real. They're too digital. This camera seems to take a picture that has a feeling of a film camera about it. It's got a lot of depth to the tones and the merging of the shadows and everything. I think they're really, really good. But saying that, the low light facility on this camera is poor. It doesn't take good low light pictures. So as long as the lighting is good outside, I think this takes a really good picture. It's wide angle, and sometimes you have to crop it to get rid of the edges which are distorted. But anyway, I tend to use this now as a camera. I find it very good. So, while saying this video, I'll just mention another thing, because the back comes off of this. There are two backs that came with this particular one, and one with a longer extended piece here, and that had a Wi-Fi system in it. But I don't use that because I don't use the camera for Wi-Fi, so I just tend to use the back plate. And here we've got the battery, and we've got some connections, and one thing and another. So the memory chip is in here. I tend to just plug in this camera straight as it is to the computer, and it immediately recognizes it, and it's simplicity itself in taking pictures off or watching videos or pictures. I like the system as well, that the videos and the photographs all come up in one file, and you just run through them. All in all, it's excellent, but you need software to alter things. You have to download the software to alter anything in the camera, which I haven't done. So I'm just using it mainly now as a camera. But I have other action cameras which are much better video-wise. But okay, this video is now a bit boring, I guess, but it's going to be about 3 cameras, because I watch all these videos that people make that review cameras, and I get involved with the hype, and yes, there is newer ones of these now that have come out. And here's one of them which I bought. It's this one here, and this is a newer version of the original one which I had. To say I was disappointed is an understatement. Let's just turn it on. So the same thing, we push the button, comes on. It's got a much bigger light here, standby light, which I don't like personally, because there's something good about this one. You can discreetly, and I'm not talking about spy photographs, but I'm just saying you can be around a group of people and just hold this. The standby light is so small nobody really sees it, and you can just push this button and take pictures discreetly, which I find very useful in a crowd situation, whereas this one has got a much brighter light. Other than that, this is a very similar camera. The back comes off the same. There's the transmitter, the larger transmitter, which is the Wi-Fi. The only advantage this one's got that I found, and really why I bought it, is that it's got an audio in jack here. So you can now use a mic on this. I haven't actually tried it because when I started to use the camera, first of all, I found the stills to be out of focus. Now, I'm not certain what the problem is, and I haven't really investigated it. Whether it's this individual camera or whether it must be, because they can't all be like that. It's certainly not in focus. And the few videos that I took as an initial trial, I found were no different, or no better rather, than the original one. So I shoved it back in its bag here and haven't really done much with it. But what we'll do is we'll put this on the car as well, and we can compare the two. So that's that one. But I also bought another Ion one, which is this one. Now, this one's called the Ion Game, and the reason I bought it is because of the hype, of course, where they said that it's got a screen in it, or I mean, it has got a screen, which obviously these haven't. Now, the screen allows you to do a lot of things. Whether there's any power in this, so we'll just power this up. Right, so I bought this one because it has a screen, and the screen allows you to change features in the camera, which these only do if you download the software and link it to a computer. So I thought, well, this is quite good. We'll take pictures and videos, and it's more like an action camera. Some of the others with screens. The Ricoh, for example, but which I'll be coming to at a later date. In actual fact, the truth is this is similar in style, in design, and similar in size, and similar in its functions to the Ricoh, but the Panasonic Ricoh, but it's nowhere near as good. It doesn't really offer anything, to be honest with you. I don't think the photographs are as good as this one. Now, whether this is just by chance or what, I just don't know. While I like these photographs, these I don't. Video on here, just mediocre. This is waterproof as it is. I mean, it's a useful little camera for somebody, but it doesn't do, to me, it doesn't do anything better than any of the other cameras I have. So we've now got 3 Ions. We'll try them all, I think, now on the same car. And this original one is the one I use for stills, but we'll see what they look like with videos. That was a very long introduction to this video on cameras on cars, but we'll see. So here we go. Right, so we're going to try the Aeon camera here. I've got it on this suction mount here, and we're going to try it out on the front of the Ami. The reason I'm not using the magnetic mount this time is because I haven't got a mount that actually screws in and successfully goes into the magnetic mount. So I've got this, so we'll use this one. But we'll see if this Ami will start, because I haven't used it for a couple of weeks. We'll try that now. Alright, choke out. This car is never a good starter when it's cold, at the best of times, and when it hasn't been used for a while. It takes quite a bit of churning. Trying to convince this car that it really must get going. Not too bad. Get the choke in. It's amazing that this particular car, this Ami, is so much more powerful and quicker than my 2CV, though it's got fundamentally the same engine. is a slightly more powerful engine, and it certainly is. I mean, it's a heavier car, and yet it drives not quite as nippy as the 2CV, but it certainly is a more car-like car to drive. Come out to the sunlight here. Right, so we'll have a look and see where we can put this now. We've got the little suction device here for the eel, and if we, let's have a look, we really want to put it like this, don't we? That doesn't work quite like that, does it? Right. Okay, push it down. That's better. No, it's not. Oh. That's going to have a problem, possibly sticking to that. That's not very good, is it? So that's really only going to stick to glass. So what we have to do, I think, is to put it onto the side, possibly, of the car. Well, that's not very good. Not very happy with that, because it's possibly going to come off. Right, what we'll do is... Right, I think what we'll do is we'll try cleaning that bonnet first. Made any difference? Push that down hard. And that one. And that one. So I've got visions of driving along with that flying up in the air. Well, after all that messing around in my set of various adapters that have come with the various SJ cams, I found the piece I needed. So that's the magnetic clamp, and that was the problem, because the camera's got a screw mount, and they don't go. But of course I found this little delightful thing, which now fits into there. And then, I don't know why I hadn't thought about it before, because I haven't had to use this, and it's just amongst all the bits and pieces that have come with my SJ cam, so that now gives us the screw mounting that we can use here. So that fits lovely on there. Just tighten that up a bit. Right. Now the beauty with that camera is that I can start it up simply by pushing that slider forward, even though the camera is not on at the moment. So I just slide that forward, it'll buzz, I can feel that it's working, and that'll be recording, so we'll try that, I think. that was the first of the ion cameras. Now this is the second one. I've put this one onto a mount, and we'll pop this on the bonnet and see how this one looks. There's the inside of my little Ami. So we'll see what happens. That one done. That's the second of these bullet type ones. Put that away. Now we'll try this one. See what happens with this. That should be alright like that. So we got that on.